The Nintendo Switch 2 is here, and it arrived on my kitchen table before 7:30 in the morning. And I went to Walmart right after work, picked up some games, and I'm ready to download and get going. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys clicking on the video. I got my Nintendo Switch 2. I can't believe I got one, but I did get one. I tried to get one at work when I was at break time on my phone. I kept on refreshing through Safari on my iPhone. Couldn't get one. Just could not get through to get one. My friend had texted me and said, "Hey, did you get one?" No, I didn't get one. He goes, "I got one." Like, "You got one?" He goes, "Yep, got it through Walmart." And he doesn't like to buy from Walmart, so that really shocked me. But where else do we have in this small town to get it? So he had ordered through Walmart and said, "Well, I can try again to see if I can get another one." I'm thinking there's a snowball's chance in hell that he's actually going to get another one.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
My phone notification goes off, and sure enough, my friend got one. He got a second one. And he said, "Well, that one's yours if you want to buy it from me." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll buy it from you." So that's how I got my Nintendo Switch 2. So all day at work, I'm just excited to get home and see this thing. But there's something in the back of my head that through experience and through years and many launches, I know what's coming, man. I definitely know what's coming. So I'm just going to hit Walmart on my way home. I picked up the Pro Controller, which I didn't get an order because I didn't get an order in. I picked up the camera, which I have nobody right now that has a camera that I can actually use it with. And I picked up a game key card for Street Fighter 6. So I got the package with Mario Kart World. And so now I got 2 games. So now it's time to get my butt home and open it up. So the box is very similar to the OLED. It's actually a little bit smaller when you put them side by side. And I've already seen a bunch of videos at work of people opening theirs up all night long. Looked at them at my break time. Didn't look at them at work. I did them at my break. And I saw that people were bitching about the dock being flimsy. People were about there's still a little flex in the Joy-Cons. You know, there's a lot of belly aching going on. But, you know, I'm still excited. It's a new console. Come on, I'm going to go home and play these things. And I get there, open it up. You know, I'm happy with what I see. I mean, it's not disappointing. It's what I knew because I've seen so many videos online. But now it's time to hook it up and get the process going. So I docked the sucker. And did I dock it? I didn't dock it. So I used the kickstand. And the kickstand's really good. I like it. I didn't think I was going to like that at all. But I wonder if it will withstand the 2-year-old durability test when the first 2-year-old comes by and goes, wham! Is it going to break? Is it solid? Is it going to hold? Is it going to crack the screen? Who knows? So let's get this thing going. So I come down here and I start to do the download, the transfer process. I can either go new or I can transfer from my old one. So I got my OLED in here because that's what I've been using to capture video. So I look at that one and start, I was going to do the transfer, and I can't find the flipping, directions where it says this is where you go to transfer it. You walk through the pathway from the new one to the OLED. I can't do it. I got to get my primary account switch out, which is the original switch that I bought. So that really ticks me off. So I go and get it. Most of my play hours are on this one. You think they'd be linked up where I can get my play hours off of both of them? Who cares anyways? I'm just going to download everything and start fresh. So I download my account stuff in here, and it tells me I've got 5 days and 20 hours. What the? There's no way I'm going to sit here for 5 days and 20 hours. And then I remember seeing somebody's video at break time saying that it's trying to download every game that you had on that. So it would go out and re-download them. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So I go in to manage the downloads, and I got to click manage that download, cancel that download, and confirm that download on every single one of them. So I get through about 3 lines of this just going, I really don't want to cancel all these flipping downloads, but I'm not waiting this long. Freaking ridiculous. So I'm like, holy crap, I brought a Pro Controller. I'm just going to sit back. So I sit back with my Pro Controller, and I'm just going through them, and I fly through them, and I cancel every download. That was a lot better than using your finger to do it. So got that all canceled out, and I put the priority on download Mario Kart World first. And it is slow. The times are going up, going down, going up, going down. So usually I go to bed around 8 o'clock at night, and by the time it was ready, I was already up later than 8. I got 3 races on Mario Kart, and it was time to get to bed to go to work the next day. Because, you know, I wake up at 2:45 a.m., and that was going to get here really dang quick. So that was all I got to play the first day. So my experience on day 1 is just a whole lot of waiting and a whole lot of anticipation just for a little itty bitty taste of what the Nintendo Switch 2 had to offer. And I want to show you a little bit by downloading Split Fiction here. I bought this for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and I thought I'm going to buy it for the Nintendo Switch Online because I want to see how this is going to, you know, play online. That is a big component of, I think, the future of gaming is actually playing some of these co-op games with your friends online, or pairing up with somebody else and playing, you know, even cross-platform. Earlier this afternoon, I actually downloaded Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, and that, you know, that took under an hour, just about an hour to download that before I got into gameplay. And Yakuza 0 Director's Cut actually took me about 3.5 hours to download. And when I did Yakuza, nobody was watching anything in the house or streaming anything online, and it still took that long. And let's look at some file sizes here. 69.2 gigabytes, Street Fighter 49, Yakuza 45, Mario Kart 21. GameCube was 5.1 gigabytes. Wow. Mario Kart, I don't know why it's on there. Fusion or Fast Fusion was 3.5 gigs. And Cyberpunk, that plays from, you know, the card itself, wasn't that big. Which begs the question, you know, if the largest memory capacity that they are going to have available is 64 gigabytes, why not put these games on the cards? You know, why have them be a game key card and force us into the, you know, having digital games versus physical games? When the Xbox One came out, they were going to force us to actually be online to play any game, and there was a revolt. People were just really ticked off about it and weren't going to buy the system. And Microsoft backpedaled on that really dang quick because people weren't going to buy the system, and it was their livelihood. So we ended up getting what we wanted, and we could play our games without having to be online to do a verification. And I understand the DRM and, you know, trying to fix the pirating issues, but the problem is, you know, they're always going to find a way to circumvent, you know, the DRM, and locks only keep out the honest thieves. And when it comes to these new games, I know there's going to be some downloads and some patches and stuff, but as developers, they've gotten really lazy with their quality assurance checks and making sure that that game is going to work fully by the time you get it in your home. I'm tired of buying broken games and having to wait till a patch comes out to fix it. We should be able to play these games on day 1 without any problems. So could we vote with our wallets and not purchase, you know, a lot of these game key cards or digital downloads? Probably not, because I'm seeing right now that studies are coming out showing that 90% of people prefer digital downloads and only 10% prefer physical, games. That just blows me away that people are just content with not owning anything. And we live in an environment right now where we just click agree and we go on. We don't even read the EULA anymore. Have you read a EULA lately? They're getting pretty dang nasty where, things like content you're watching right now, they could actually ban you from playing any more of their games and take that game away from you for improper, streaming. If they don't agree to what you stream or how you stream it or what you say during the stream, you could get banned. And I'll give you a little update, on Split Fiction. I have been downloading this since, 4:15, 4:20, and it is 6:38 p.m. right now, and I still have 3 hours and 37 minutes left, and I'm only 36% downloaded of the game, and that is just ridiculous. When I want to come home and game, I want to get right to it. I don't want to set to wait 3 hours to install a new game. Even an hour is ridiculous. But this is the new, this is the new. I think that's what they call it, the new. I just downloaded Bravely Default, and that one only took 35 minutes to download, and I'll have to check back on that and see what size it was a little bit later. And all these digital downloads and these game key cards are tied to our Nintendo account. We can't download this stuff without having a Nintendo account. Will it always be there? Did you guys read through the Nintendo account agreement? It's scrolling by on the screen, or did you just scroll by this quick and hit OK? And I know I'm guilty of doing it. I've done it for years where I just scroll by and do it. But if you read through that, if you lose your account, somebody hacks you, you lose your account, you might not get any of this stuff back, and all these games that you invested on are hasta la vista, baby. They're gone. And that's worst case scenario, but in the real world, it's a possibility. This stuff could happen to you at any moment, and it's really a shame that we live in this world today where we're buying these digital games that we could actually lose. It would be nice if we could have the option to buy them physical. What can we do to prevent this? I don't know. I've seen a lot of YouTubers out there saying they will not buy, game key cards, and I'm seeing different reports online of the average consumer doesn't give a rip. I think we could change this, tide by actually only buying, the physical games. Will we be limited to that 64 gigabyte storage, game card? Or will they actually up that later to, do what the consumer wants? My first 2 days with the Nintendo Switch weren't that good. And I'm not saying the system wasn't good. I'm not saying the gameplay wasn't good. I'm just saying the experience of, working with digital key cards and, with Split Fiction, not loading quickly, it was just a pain in the butt for me. And when it comes to getting these games and playing them, we got to be clear of what's a game key card and what's a digital download. And putting these little small boxes at the bottom of the case really doesn't indicate, what they are if they're covered up on the store shelves. Now, here's a trip when I went to Walmart, and here's what I saw. Of new Nintendo Switch 2 games, there's not very many available, and they're locked up behind a cabinet like like everything else is at Walmart. But you can't tell if they're a digital key card or a digital download code, or if they're physical games by just looking at them, because their shelf covers up the bottom portion of the game. Now, if every retailer does this and they lock up their games, we're not going to know what we're getting. And it was really easy to tell on the original Switch games because the banner was at the top of the game. And towards the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, we started getting banners at the bottom of the game. Games like Star Wars The Heritage Pack, Batman Arkham Collection, Metal Gear Solid Collection only included so many games on the cartridge or the game card, and the rest you had to download. And if you went to the back of the game, you would actually see a little blue box that told you that you needed to have, an additional SD card with the required space to fill the games. Otherwise, you couldn't download them. For Pete's sakes, we were the frog in the kettle, and they actually included game key cards on the Switch 1. My goodness. And let's start off with some launch day cons as we wrap this up. I just wanted to start off with the cons because there are a lot of positives that we could be seeing. And next, I want to talk about the amount of new games that they had available. What were the launch titles? You had Mario Kart World, which was huge, but there really wasn't anything else. It was just port over of old games that we really have already had. And there were games that we were playing on other systems if we do collect for other systems. And I'm going to say most of us were happy with the new eShop and how to navigate around. It was just so much snappier. And you're not going to go wrong with that. But when you look at the games, it was the same games you were seeing in the store. They had a few other ones, that were just digital only downloads. But it wasn't anything that was huge, man. I mean, you had Fast Fusion and Survival Kids that weren't in the bricks and mortar store, but not a whole lot of games out there that were just jumping out at you that this was a great launch. What we needed was maybe 2 or 3 more big AAA titles. Why not bring Donkey Kong out, with Mario Kart? Like, we're not going to buy Mario Kart World if we buy Donkey Kong? Come on. We're going to buy it. And right after launch day through the weekend, man, the network congestion for downloading these games were super dog, slow. I'm telling you, it was an embarrassment. And, what's sad about it is that you look at some of the games that they have and some of the games that I've downloaded, really only one game wouldn't have fit on a 64 gigabyte, game card. Why in the heck would you not make your release smoother by putting these game cards out? And I know they're wanting to shove this game key card down our throat, but make it, make the launch day go a little bit smoother by having these games available with play right away without the download. There's no reason that I should have waited that long to download, Mario Kart World. It was just a ridiculous amount of time of waiting. And the pre-launch negativity surrounding the Switch 2, I'm just as guilty as anybody else is because, everybody called this the, Switch Pro, and I was really hoping they were going to call it the Super Switch. I thought that would have been flipping awesome. And when the Switch came out, I thought it was just another Wii U type of device. It was going to be playing some of the same games that came out on the Wii U. So I skipped that launch day altogether. And that was regrettable because the Switch has actually been one of my favorite consoles to collect for because of all the games that they've had. And with all the negativity, people have been saying that there's no innovation, between the jump from the Switch to Switch 2. And, Nintendo is a company that innovates and does new things. But when you look at it, come on, really? There was innovations between the NES, the Super Nintendo, going up to the N64. But you look after that, the GameCube was pretty slick. It was neat, but it wasn't that, well liked at the time when it came out, especially with older gamers. We were jumping to PlayStation 2 into the Xbox. And by that time, Sega already threw in the towel. And the next jump was to the Wii, and that was a what the floppy doop moment because it was just gimmicky, game controls with the motion controls, but then it was just literally a pro GameCube at the time. And when they came out with the Wii U, and they added the tablet, it wasn't gimmicky enough. Just didn't want to invest more money into this ecosystem, and I just kept on playing what I was playing normally. And it's a shame because I let all that negativity influence what I was thinking at the time, and I missed out on some great games during the life cycle of all those Nintendo consoles. And now let's look at some launch day pros. I want to go with 3 just like I did with the 3 cons, and let's look at the first one is backwards compatibility. This machine is a powerhouse when you look at the library that it already has. And with your Nintendo account, you can actually play the expansion pack, and you're going to get all these old consoles, whether it be a handheld console or the old NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, or the GameCube has just been added. And you're going to get a lot of value for what you're paying for online. And Nintendo hasn't abandoned anything. They're always adding new titles to this library, and it is well worth the extra money you spend per year. And when you enter that Switch Online account, did you notice it is Switch Online? It's not Switch 2 Online. It is actually Switch Online. They've kept the branding the same. And maybe there is actually something to this being the Switch Pro. I know a lot of people feel that way. And, being a collector myself, I really enjoy that I can pop in some of my old games and I'm getting updates to them and graphical enhancements. And it just means a lot that I'm prolonging the life of those games. Sometime back, I did a review on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade, Wrath of the Mutants, and I did a loading comparison between the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox Series X and S, and I actually got my capture footage off my S, and you can see that it loaded up a heck of a lot quicker. And I got down below, I've got the Switch 2 actually running, and I captured footage, and I try to get them pretty well synced up to about the same time to see when they're actually going to load. And you can see this thing is still slow compared to the Xbox Series X and S, but it's going to make a difference when the developers start doing updates on these games and see the vast improvements. There is a lot quicker load times. You can see it's already loaded up here, and I'm already into gameplay, but it is nowhere in comparison of the speeds of the Xbox. I rarely play mine in handheld mode, so now that we're getting gaming in 4K through the dock, I am just thrilled, man. I've had a 4K TV for quite some time, and it is about stinking time that I get to see all my games in full resolution. And the handheld HDR capabilities isn't getting really good reviews right now, but when you dock it, you are getting full resolution of the 4K, and it looks great in HDR. And what really gets me excited is that first-party games are going to be on physical media. So when Nintendo makes a game, a Mario game, a Zelda game, they are going to be on physical media, and they're going to be located in your store shelves. And that's a great thing because preserving these games, is going to take physical media. And if you want them in your shelves at home, you're going to have them shelves at the stores. Yeah, these are just personal opinions of mine. So, you're going to have your own opinions, and you're going to have you're going to come to your own conclusions on whether you like the system or not. And I'm telling you right now, it is too early to tell. These just are initial knee-jerk reactions. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I might have a different reaction for you. But right now, these are my initial reactions. And I was really literally excited to see a Switch 2. I got so much out of the first Switch that I was excited to see what was going to come. And what my hopes are for this console is, one, we're going to stop doing these key cards. I'm sorry, they're just stupid. I don't know what else to tell you about them. It's not physical media. It's not collecting anything. We don't own anything. And the EULAs are just merely ridiculous of what they're posting online. So I just want to see that stuff go away. I want to see back to owning a game. I want to get back to, if the game's good, then finish it, get it out there in a finished, form, and stop doing all these updates. Stop giving me a broken game. I don't want to play a stinking broken game and wait for an update. Give me a day one game that's going to play all the way through. And number two, let's keep the titles coming. Let's keep those games coming right to the Nintendo Switch 2. We don't need these little phone app type of games where they're just rushed through, not developed, made, quick money grab type of game. What we need are titles that are fun, that we want to play repeatedly. And, the Switch 1 was known for being a port-over machine. It was a port-over powerhouse. And there's no reason the Switch 2 can't carry that on. It's got a mouse capabilities, and if you look in the settings, there is a setting for a USB keyboard in there as well. man, let's get that keyboard active and let's start porting some PC titles in there. It would be great to see some of these older PC titles that will actually fit on a 64 gigabyte card. Let's get them ported over and optimized to run on the Nintendo Switch. How much fun would that be? I'm telling you, the name of the game is the games, and you want us to play on your system, keep the games coming. And third and last is Nintendo. You got to know that your greatest asset for your company is your customers. We're the ones buying the games. We're the ones that are, making this happen for you. If you want us to buy into the Nintendo Switch 2, not only do you have to get the games out there, but you got to treat us right. We're consumers, we're customers, we're the ones that are buying the games. We want to own these games. We don't want to rent these games. We don't want these games to disappear, out of our collection, at some date. We want to buy them because we really invest in them and we like these things. We like the games. I bought some stinkers that I still like to this day. How many times do I go back and laugh at Star Wars Masters of Terrakasi? It's just a ridiculously fun game that is terrible. And I own it. It's still on my shelf over there. Sony's not going to come back and steal it. Lucas, Arts is not going to come back here and rip it off my shelf, even though they probably want to, but it's just a part of gaming history. Take care of your consumers. We're investing in you. Please invest back in us. Let us, decide the games that we want to put on our shelves and keep on our shelves. Don't you decide whether we're not by writing a ridiculously long EULA that takes ownership away from us, or if we lose our, Nintendo Online Switch accounts, we lose all our games. Let us, the consumers, buy what we like and keep what we like. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. Just my opinions, people. Don't kill me in the comments, but it's just my opinions of what it is. Do you need to rush out? No, I think there's a lot of FOMO in this right now. There's not that many games out there. If you're an early adopter, why not? If you got the extra cash, go ahead and do it. If you don't have the extra cash and you want to wait through the summer till there's more titles out, that would be a smart decision as well. Hey, if you haven't yet, please hit the like button. If you enjoyed this video or enjoyed anything in this video, please hit that like button. It helps me grow my channel out a little bit more. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you know when there's new videos up and coming. And till then, hope you guys are having a great summer so far. If you're at Mo Game Con, I will be there this July, so say hi to me, stop me, I'll get you some stickers. And just remember, people, have fun and game on.